Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to NIntenDave's epic reading of The Battle of the Prostate, Book 1. Shall we begin? I think we shall. Once there was a man named Michael. Michael had a large prostate. Michael was quite proud of having a large prostate. In fact, he loved the prostate so much that he wanted to celebrate its birthday. So then he did. It was a very interesting time indeed. He and his prostate played party games, and then they had some of the best cheesecake that they had ever had at the fine restaurant down the street. No, literally. That's what the restaurant was called. After that, they looked into the starry sky that night over a random lake in the middle of town, sitting on a park bench. They had a great night, and it was the best night ever. When the night was finished, they went back home and had a glass of wine, and it was off to bed with them. The next morning, they had breakfast and planned the whole day out. They decided to go to the park again. Before that could ever happen, there was a knock on the door, and it was their next door neighbor, Brandon. Brandon was befuddled as if he'd never seen a walking pancreas, or prostate, sorry, before, and of course he had never seen one. He yelped and asked Michael, "What was that thing?" Michael then said, "It's a prostate." As Michael was about to question again why all this was happening, a giant rumble came from Michael's stomach, and an enormous liver came out of him. The liver combined with the prostate to create a giant cow that could crush anything. On the cow there was a laser beam and large lightsabers that could cut anything in half. The cow then proceeded to attack Michael and Brandon. They both were quick and ran out of the way before the cow could get to them. They went into Michael's secret hideout in a tree in the backyard to hide from the cow. Both Michael and Brandon were formulating a plan to get out of this mess. They thought that were 5 hours straight, and they still could not come up with anything. So they left the tree to see a terrible scene. Everything was destroyed, and it was like an asteroid had hit the earth and never cleaned up after itself. So the two gentlemen were milling around until they heard a giant boom. The big crash was coming from the east side of the city, so they started going east and finally saw it. A powerful man holding up a giant cow. It was a sight to see. The man threw the 200-ton cow in the air and batted it into a building. The man then walked over to Michael and Brandon and asked what they were doing there. Then he said that they were the last 3 people in the town and they had to get out of there. The man was named the Great Elder, but he just called them Elder for short. Before they could say more, the giant beast cow got right back up and started laughing. Or they thought it was laughing, or more like growling, or, something like that. As he started to laugh or something like that, Elder flew up into air via a random catapult that was there, unless he was actually flying. I think it was flying. Yeah, let's just stick to him flying. I mean, that's simpler, okay? He's flying, okay? Well, he flew up into the beast and kicked it right in the Alex Schmidt. Okay, which was apparently his weakness the whole time, and knowing that could have saved a whole 5 hours of the story, but oh well, at least there's Oprah and the time, and who knows, I don't know Oprah, I don't know. Anyway, Elder kicked him right in the Alex Schmidt bone, and he fell to the ground, saying some witty pun like, "I'll get you back," or something like that, I don't know. A large crash left the giant beast smashing into the ground, created an earthquake that was magnitude 10, so a pretty big earthquake. So Elder flew up and grabbed Michael and Brandon. Halfway through the flight, Michael and Brandon blacked out like in a Pokemon trainer when he lost all his Pokemon to the match and the it was just bad. It was so bad that they blacked out, and it was terrible. It was terrible. It was terrible. After about 6 hours, they reached an island off the coast of Alaska. Elder called this Elder's Lair. That is the most original name ever, OMG! Elder took Brandon and Michael to his underground cave in the middle of the island. It kept on going down and down until they finally reached the end of the journey down. The temperature had gone up considerably, about 40 degrees, and they were about 150 feet below the Earth's surface. Elder then opened a huge door about the size of the cow that they faced earlier. They went in, and Elder turned on a light, and it was a swanky living room, of course, in the lair. Yeah, that's underground. Kind of makes sense, right? I don't know, I think. They looked around the large structure to find it was as normal as a lair could get. Other than said, you will be living here from now on. Now, it's not every day that your prostate decides to combine with your liver to create a giant 200-ton cow machine thing, and frankly, Michael was decimated. He could not live without his prostate. No, seriously, he couldn't. In fact, he was also losing a butt ton of blood from the gigantic liver-shaped hole right beside his pancreas. But it's a story, so all logic goes out the window. Yeah, totally. And he needed to win back its love, for the sake of not only himself, but humanity as well. Michael knew he needed to convince the Elder to let him go to the surface in an attempt to reason with his liver/prostate/cow, but he knew that the Elder would not let him go, so Michael hatched an evil scheme involving 3 fried eggs, bacon, and Brandon, and a Coke Zero. Okay, that's a pretty good plan. I don't see what's wrong with that. Nope. Okay, let's get on going. You knew it was serious when it involved Coke Zero. Yeah, I don't know why it wouldn't be. Coke Zero is pretty important. Brandon knew this as well for knowing Michael for 20 plus years, and in turn he gulped a nervous gulp at the mention of it. The two guys slowly approached the Elder from behind, a bacon strip in each hand. Oh no, seriously, bacon strips can kill people, right? Oh, who thinks of this shit? Not me. Unfortunately, the next scene was way too graphic for me to describe, but to give you the basic overview of what proceeded in the last couple hours, it was essentially a cross between WWE wrestling tournament, a food fight, a Republican office meeting, and a band president election, all wrapped up in one big tasty sandwich known as Justice with a capital J. So when all was set and done, it was Brandon and Michael who came out victorious, leaving the Elder in a bloody heap on the floor. Brandon and Michael then tried to find their way out of the lair when they realized there was no easy way out. They started climbing up the steep rocky wall. 14 finger scrapes later, sorry. They were both on the surface of the island, which was completely made out of ice. No, I forgot to mention that last. Yeah, the whole island is fucking made out of ice. I don't know how. It just is. Yeah. This was where Michael and Brandon realized that the island was going to melt soon because they left the door to the cave open, releasing all the heat. But it was too late. The island quickly melted, and the two men found themselves falling into a dark, cold water. But it was not too late for our fair heroes, for Michael's stomach, sensing that he was in trouble, suddenly inflated 50 times its normal size, holding Michael afloat and creating the life raft for Brandon. Yeah, makes fucking sense, I know. God. As Brandon stepped onto Michael's enormous stomach, Michael let out the largest fart known to man, which conveniently served as a motor for the newly acquired Michael raft. Yeah, you can buy those at your local Lowe's! Spoons! Okay. The long, drawn-out fart carried them all the way back to town, where the cow/liver/prostate thing was waiting for the final showdown. Drumroll! He finally landed in the center of the earth, with the cow thing turned into the devil. Yeah, it turned into the devil. The cow devil turns into the devil. Cow devil. Cow devil. Okay. In short, they ran as fast as they could away from, but they were stopped. A giant wall came down around the arena, and it simulated an arena-type setup, like the final Smash Bros. You know. They turned back to see it coming towards them. A giant cow. Devil thing. Yeah. As it started shooting missiles at them, they blacked out. The devil thing picked them up and threw them across the arena to the dark black wall. As all hope was lost, something amazing happened. Brandon started glowing a faint white and then started morphing. Now mind you, they were both blacked out at this point, and so it did not come to the case that this was happening. Brandon did not know this was happening as well as Michael. And just for future reference, this is mimicking Brandon Cycli, a person in my class who's into government type stuff. Last year, Ron Paul was running for president, but he slowly lost out in the beginnings of the, running for the race of the candidate president. Actually, yeah, that was last year. He loved Ron Paul, so this is kind of mimicking what he loved, which was Ron Paul, indeed. So, yeah. So Brandon started morphing into Ron Paul mode, and then a faint white glow got even brighter until he woke up as another person, which was Ron Paul. He was out of control, and he was not controlling himself. He was in a zombie-like state. The white glowing turned into yellow as he started turning red, and he was angry looking. The cow noticed this, so he threw Brandon against the wall, but it did not face him. He bounced off the wall, and the missiles took himself into the beast. He was a rocket who projected himself. He had entered Ron Paul mode. In this mode, he could guide himself like a bullet, and have the defense to not blow himself to bits while doing it. But there is one downfall. The angrier he would get, the less chance he would have restabilized himself, and he would not go back to normal Brandon after that. Michael woke up and saw this was happening before his eyes. It was shocking to him that Brandon could do all this. It was his next door neighbor. What the fuck, Brandon? Tell him some stuff. Come on. Brandon then guided himself like a missile into the beast. Michael, not knowing the capabilities of Brandon's defenses in Ron Paul mode, was scared. Brandon then threw himself into the beast a couple more times until they both got angrier and angrier. For the next few hours, it seems like they were fighting. They received and took blows until Brandon finally went into his final form. His Mega Evolution. Ron Paul mode. Super Ron Paul mode, bitches! That's not on the paper, but I just wanted to say that. He turned rainbow color and started throwing rainbows, which exploded into awesomeness, and one hit took the cow down. I mean, seriously, he could have done that at the beginning of the story when the... This does not make sense! Fuck, I don't know. Once the cow was down, he split himself in half and started laughing. Wait, split the cow into half and started laughing, witty puns, Ganondorf evil laugh, stuff like that. Right then, he turned around and started running full speed at Michael. Brandon was trying to kill Michael. For the anger inside of Brandon got so hot that he had resorted to killing everyone he looked at. The two played cat and mouse for about several minutes before Michael said, "Stop!" Right then, Brandon stopped in his tracks and looked at the defenseless Michael. Michael started then staying comparisons between the cow and him as in Super Ron Paul mode. Right now. It was then that a tear came out of Brandon's eyes as he looked into normal Brandon. Before the two could say anything, there was a shaking in the ground. The arena was collapsing on around him. They had to get out of there. The two friends that anyone could have ran all the way back up into Elder's Lair, and then out of the secret island exit. Though I have no idea how they did that, considering they were 150 feet below the Earth's surface, but maybe they were that athletic they could just run off walls like Spider-Man. They're so athletic, they're just like LeBron James. Whoa! Whoa! Anyway, they swam away from the island in the cold, icy water of Alaska. They finally looked back to find that there was a volcano in the lair. What? That's terrible. I mean, it's a terrible spot to put a lair. I mean, that's terrible. Why would you put a lair in a volcano? What the fuck? That's why it was so damn hot. What is wrong with people? I don't know. I really don't know. And it was erupting, so of course. They saw the liver and the prostate fly up out of the volcano, sorted in ash. It went to the west of the island. They looked over to the west island, and there they found Japan. Yeah, because... Yeah, okay. Oh, God! What the fuck happened next? What the fuck happens next? Says the sexy and yet awesome narrator. Who knows? Find out in the next book. And there will be Asian people. There will be a new friend, aka Miyoshi, also known as the person who owns Nintendo. The end! Woo! Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching my epic reading of the Book of Prostate, Book 1. I don't know if I'm going to write Book 2, but just to say something about that story, me and Alex Schmidt wrote that during lunch one day, and then we took it to study hall. We traded out parts and paragraphs, and so some of the stuff was written by him, some of the stuff was written by me. If you guys want an actual copy, you can message me or message Alex Schmidt. His channel is in the link below, so go check out his videos and stuff. And also, if you want a copy, you can either ask me or him for the actual copy of the story if you want to read it and tell your kids how the epic battle of the prostate was won. So, I don't know. So thank you guys for watching. If you love the story, please leave a like down below and tell me what your favorite part was in the comments below. I'd like to see what your feedback was on the story. And yeah, so thank you for watching. And goodbye!